Hey, welcome back to the channel. It's awesome that you're tuning in. In today's video we are going to take a close look at something very unique. This is thanks to Mr. Port, who came to the Wicked Cave and gave me the opportunity to test out this testing tool from the PlayStation Portable. The testing tool, already the name says it, it was actually for testing out, or maybe in the final phase of making a PlayStation Portable game, where we can burn it to disk or actually using the UMD drive that is inside this mini PC or this huge PlayStation Portable PC, how you want to actually see it. So what I understand, when you compare this with the dev kit and the testing kit, both are similar to it comes to configuration of loading, but the difference is that the developer kit had an Ethernet connection. Both will, so far I know, have the same connection at the front, and some will be similar to an original PlayStation Portable, like a USB connection or the micro SD card or storage capacity they are using. But let's do a quick chit chat about all of the functionalities, what is so different compared with an original PlayStation Portable, and of course let's play some games, because we do have some options for that. The kit itself also comes of course with a PlayStation Portable, but the PlayStation Portable is not the normal PlayStation Portable. It's actually, so far I understand, a shell with a display, of course, the buttons and the speakers, because this thing is going to be plugged in into your testing kit. And from this you just can basically navigate through the menu and just actually play and test the games. The idea, I think it was like to try to experience this, how the consumer will actually have this overall experience when having the system in your hands and just play it. But the biggest difference we're actually having that we're having a huge, very sluggish cable on the back, so it's always going to be slightly different. But let's plug this thing in. There are two connections, the first one and then of course the USB. So plug it in at the front, and that's the only thing you need to do. So let's boot up the device and let's take a close look at the software itself. What are the differences there? So when actually booting up, it looks the same like your typical PlayStation. But with the tester, we do have some debug options that are quite interesting. So let's do a quick overview. So we still have all the settings like photo and media. Over here you can see game, network, PlayStation network. Everything is the same like your PlayStation Portable. Then we're having the USB connection, photo, system, theme, the time and date, power, sound, security, network. But this is the thing, debug settings. The debug setting, we have all kinds of cool things. For example, the available memory can be switched between the 32 and 64 megabytes. And 64 megabytes is unique to this machine. Over here we're having the button behavior can be checked out. The USB GPS driver can be set to release and debugged. Flash player can be enabled, disabled. The GPY6 memory stick and lock emulation. DVD mode, we have set it to UMD almost compatible, but we have even DVD maximum speed, so we can change out what kind of speed we're having with the DVD player. And here we're having actually all kinds of different options that we don't have of course with an original PlayStation Portable. But it's just a quick look in all of the options what you can do as a tester. PlayStation Portable testing, let's play some games. We have two different ways to play, the UMD and the DVD drive. So let's power on the device and let's set it to DVD. So let's put in the single game that came with the device from Mr. Port himself. So putting in the disc, that's it, the only thing we need to do, and automatically we'll boot up the game through the DVD. So the first game that we're actually going to play is some Gran Turismo, and it just boots up like a normal game. It also will indicate that the UMD game has been booted up, so there's nothing very fancy over there. So what's kind of cool that we can actually play it on the monitor, but also at the same time on the PlayStation Portable itself. And this is actually how it works. Let's boot it up again to showcase how this actually works out. See, also the menu itself is the same like your PlayStation Portable, and it will boot up the game itself. So when it comes to the overall experience, it's kind of cool to be honest to see this thing running on the TV itself. The later models of the PlayStation Portable did also have this option for a monitor function with a special cable, and I think there were even now HDMI solutions out there. And here you can just actually see that it is loading the game throughout the DVD itself that is implemented in the machine now. But let's play a little bit of a Gran Turismo and show you the overall experience. The PlayStation Portable you are holding in your hand with this machine is just an empty shell. Everything of the technology is inside the testing kit. So you can just see over here there is one huge gigantic PlayStation Portable board in here that has everything that we're going to be needing for testing, but also playing the games. So here we're having the micro SD card, and there is a huge dent. That is unfortunate. The DVD drive and the bracket can be removed. We always need to be very gentle over here. You can see the cable is still stuck with the tie wrap, but I think we don't need to replace it. We can just flip it open to show you the internal part. And you can see this is one huge massive mainboard that actually contains everything that we're going to be using for testing out our games, and even having the same kind of chipset like the FPGA technology also utilize. Alright, so let's take a close look at how you need to exit. You can just press the DVD button and we'll ask you to exit the game like with the original UMD. So let's switch to the UMD and let's plug in the game. So opening it up, it just flips open like that. You can just slide in your game, click it in and close the UMD drive. That's it, and automatically it will boot up into the game. But first, let's turn it on and off again. And let's showcase you the gameplay itself. I can just actually play games like that on the PlayStation Portable Tester. By pressing the button, it will flip open, asking you to exit out the game. So this was actually a promo disc that came with the station itself. They were sent to companies if they made a review or just test the game itself. But we both wondered, it's like, how is it with retail games? And of course movies, can we just use everything on the UMD tester? This thing needs to be region free and it should be no problem whatsoever to play in Japanese title or just an original PAL game. But let's take a close look at the Hellboy movie. I was curious if this is going to be even booting up or does it work, but unfortunate, it didn't do anything. It just gives you a region code that's not correct and that's it. So let's start off with some Need for Speed Rivals, one of my first games I completed on the PSP, and it's absolutely a very nice game. Underground Rivals, the Japan version. But let's move on to the different region and let's see how far we can push this device. With the Power Stone Collection, oh man, one of my favorite games to play because this is so much fun. So this was absolutely a blast to the past with the PlayStation Portable Testing Kit, a very unique opportunity, and thank you for Mr. Port for bringing this in here. So we can just do a quick chit chat about it, because this is absolutely a piece of nostalgia and also very unique if you can add something like this to your collection. For me, I'm personally just staying it with the original PlayStation Portables for now. Let me know in the comments, would you consider having this in your collection? Thank you all for watching, consider subscribing, and it would be great to see you in the next video.